Hey, what's going on, guys? Chaotix here, and welcome to another episode. And today I'm going to be starting a new series on my channel, and this is going to be me doing some character analysis on some of the new cards coming to Blazing as well as Dokkan. So in this episode, I'm going to be going over the new Kabuto that released yesterday, as well as the new OBITO that is being released this Friday. For Dokkan, it's probably going to be SSJ4. This is the first character video overview. Alright, so anyways, let's go ahead and hop into this character analysis of the Kabuto and the OBITO. Alright, so here we have the 6-star Kabuto. Don't worry about it being in Japanese. I do have the English translation for it right after I explain this, right after I talk about this card for a little bit. So as you can see, at level 100 he has some pretty decent stats, I'd say, as a level 100 for a long range card. He is long range, right? Lots of jutsu ceiling resistance abilities, which makes him pretty decent going against cards that stop your jutsu ceiling. Alright, so should you farm this card? Yes. Why? Because 1, he's really good, he can immobilize. 2, he stops your team from getting jutsu sealed. And 3, he's really good when he's max limit broken. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the max limit broken Kabuto. Alright, so here's the Kabuto at max limit break. As you can see, his stats are amazing, especially for a long range card. Being able to reach 1600 damage at max 150 is pretty good, right? So yes, you should farm this card. Definitely farm this card. Alright, I'm gonna be going over his buddy skills and field skills right after this. So yeah, definitely farm this card. He's going to be really good on a hard team. Alright, so here we have the English translation for the Kabuto card. So we have Kabuto Yakushi, Craving for Wisdom, Long Range, Buddy Skill, reduces the chance of receiving Jutsu Ceiling by 25%. Alright, and his field skill. Now, before I go into this field skill, a lot of you guys are probably going to be wondering, why does it say 20 to 25%? So essentially what it means, the 20% is if you're standing like right at the edge of Kabuto's range. So since he's long range, you're going to have that big circle, and if you're standing right at the edge of that circle, you're going to have a 20% chance of avoiding Jutsu Ceiling. Right? And for the 25% is if you're standing right next to him. Right, so if you're standing right next to him, you're gonna have a 25% of avoiding Jutsu Ceiling. If you're right at the edge, you're gonna have a 20% chance of dodging Jutsu Ceiling. So his field skill reduces the chance of receiving Jutsu Ceiling by 20 to 25%. Alright, so pretty much he's just avoiding Jutsu Ceiling in the long run. Alright, so now his ninjutsu and ultimate jutsu. So his ninjutsu is 5 chakra, Sage Art, Scattering Rays Jutsu, 5 times attack towards one enemy in range, and 40% chance of immobilization for 2 turns. Aside for the immobilization of 2 turns, he's pretty good, but 40% chance, I mean, that's alright for a ninjutsu. Alright, excuse me. So now his ultimate jutsu, 10 chakra, Sage Art, Inorganic Reanimation, 10 times attack towards one enemy in range, and 60% chance of immobilization for 3 turns. That's really good. Alright, so same jutsus as in the actual Storm 4 or Storm 3 when it was first released, so pretty good. Now his abilities, all 5 abilities are Jutsu Ceiling Resistance. He just gets a 10% chance of getting Jutsu sealed, so he has a total of 60% chance. He has a total of a 60% chance to avoid getting Jutsu sealing. So he's pretty good on like raids and stuff that focus around you getting Jutsu sealed. So if you're ever going to do a raid like that, bring this Kabuto because he's really good for that. So next I'm going to show you what his ninjutsu and ultimate jutsu look like. Alright, so the first one you just saw here was the Sage Art, I believe Scattering Rage Jutsu, and then the second one is his Ultimate Jutsu, Inorganic Reanimation. They have some pretty good, I mean, Bandai is really upping their game on this. I mean, aside for the fact that they're getting pretty lazy with, like, the Ultimate Jutsu, like, cutscenes, like, but I mean, it's okay if not all, because I don't think all the Impact cards have, like, because you know how like a Blazing Fest 6-star has like an animation when they do their Ultimate Jutsu. Most of the Impact cards don't do that, but all in all, the Jutsus look really well. He's a pretty good card. Should you farm for it? Again, yes, farm for this Kabuto. Get this Kabuto, at least get all abilities on him. He is really good to have on a hard team, or any team for that matter. So anyways, that's it for the Kabuto. Let's go ahead and hop right into the OBITO. Okay, so I'm trying to find the stats. I'm trying to find like the actual card for this OBITO. I can't find it right now, but I do have the 5-star art and the 6-star art to show you guys, which are right here. So I kind of do remember their stats from mine. I believe his health is 1480 and his health is 1506, and what makes this Obito so special is that he is the second vast range card in the game so far, the first being Minato. So he's like probably one of the most wanted cards you're gonna want to have, right? He kind of tops Madara now as like one of the more wanted cards to have, right? Because Madara is probably, I believe Madara is like one of the more popular ones, but I think Obito now has taken that spot because of how good he is. Alright, so this is the 6-star art for the Obito Uchiha. Yes, as you can see by the art, his ultimate jutsu is the 10 tails, so I find that pretty cool. I keep hitting my mic. I need to stop hitting my mic. Like, this is ridiculous. I always hit my mic in almost every video, so it's ridiculous. But yes, he is vast range. He's a really good card to have. So should you go for him? Yes, but the only problem with this Obito is that they really shafted free-to-play players really bad with this card. I'm gonna show you why in a second when I show you his buddy skills and his ultimate jutsus and his abilities and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and hop right into that. Okay, before we hop into his abilities and stuff like that, I did find the card. it was like right next to it. Yes, I was right. 1480 health, 1506 attack, vast range. He's the second of its kind. His abilities I will explain in a second. 40 cost with max abilities, which is really well. He is wisdom. Great, another wisdom card I have to go for. I swear, wisdom is like the most. I swear, like wisdom, I have the most of. Like, the most cards I have are wisdom types. Like, I have at least 10 wisdom types, and none of the other types I have are over 10 or even near 10 for that matter. I think the closest I have is like 9 or 8. Wisdom, I have the most of. It's ridiculous. Like, I need the other types. I can't get the other types. I always pull the wisdom 6-star. So anyways, enough of me babbling. Let's go ahead and go into his abilities. Alright, so here's the English translation for the Obito Uchiha card. Obito Uchiha, Despair of Loneliness, vast range, buddy skill, 15% chance of dodging an attack, field skill, reduces damage by 15 to 20%. Alright, so buddy skill, by far, best thing I've seen so far on this Obito. 15% chance of dodging an attack. It's not that high, but it's pretty good. Now, moving on to his ninjutsu and ultimate jutsu. Now, if you look at it, it says 8 chakra. 8 chakra. 8. That is a freaking lot. And then 16 chakra for his ultimate. You're gonna be sitting there for like half an hour just trying to stall for this man's ultimate. It's ridiculous. I will explain what it means 6 with max abilities or 12 with max abilities in a second, because that's what really shafted these free-to-play players. But anyways, explaining his ninjutsu and ultimate jutsu. Fire style, bomb, blast, dance. 7 times attack towards all the enemies in range with an 80% chance of slip damage for 5 turns and knocks them back. All in all, pretty good. Not as good as Madara's ninjutsu, which is a guaranteed 100% chance of slip damage, but at least you have a good chance of getting slip damage with this card. If it was 100 chance, this card would probably be the most broken card in the game if you had 100% slip damage with this ninjutsu. But 80% chance really balances it out a bit. Doesn't make him as broken as Madara, but it's pretty good. But his ultimate ninjutsu is really what makes him probably the most overpowered card in the game. Ultimate jutsu, summoning jutsu 10 tails. 15.5 times attack towards all enemies and knocks them back. Keep in mind, it didn't say all enemies in range. It says all enemies, which means this man, OBITO, hits the entire freaking map with his ultimate jutsu. Can you believe that? Hits the entire map. He's the first card in the game to hit the entire map. No other card can do this. The only time a card can actually hit the entire range is Impact Raid Sasuke. When you're fighting him at the boss, which I will cover when he comes out, he hits the entire map and he will one-shot you if you don't kill him before that point. He's the only other card that does that. He's the first actual pullable card that can hit the entire map. Now, moving on to his abilities, which is what really shafts free-to-play players. If you look at his first ability and his last ability, right? Chakra gauge reduction reduces chakra gauge by 1, and that's why it says 8 chakra and then 6 chakra with max abilities, because if you get all abilities, his chakra gauge decreases from 8 to 6, which means it only takes him 6 chakra to do his ninjutsu and then 12 chakra to do his ultimate jutsu, which makes it so much better, because I believe 16 chakra for a UJ is the most chakra for any card in the game now. I think the highest before was 14 with I believe Datara, but they really made it so that you have to get dupes in order for this card to be used at its best, right? And then his second, third, and fourth abilities are just substitution jutsu, which gives him an extra 15% chance to dodge physical attacks, not slip damage, or just physical attacks in general. So all in all, Obito is a really good card. Question is, should you go for him? Yes, but don't try to go for too many. If you can get at least 2, stick with that. Don't try and go for any more, right? Because 714 is probably the best you can get so far. If you do manage to get all abilities, good for you. But if you're a free-to-play player, try to go for at least 1 or 2, right? If you can get them within 2 multis or something like that, try and get 100 pearls and do two multis or anything like that. But this card was pretty much made for pay-to-play winners, to pay-to-play players to get, because in order for him to be really good, you need all abilities, because that chakra gauge reduction is really what makes him very useful, because that 16 chakra is just disgusting, man. That 12 chakra is really useful. 12 chakra for his UJ, so much better. Makes him just as good as Madara. So if anything, go for him if you want. Don't try to spend too much. Try to go for at least 2, get the main one and then a dupe, and then that's it. Because keep in mind, we're closing in on 1-year anniversary, and they're probably going to release some crazy card for that. So if anything, try to save up for 1-year anniversary, and don't do too much on this Blazing Fest if you don't want. And besides, later Blazing Fest, Obito is going to be on the future Blazing Fest banners anyway. So if you don't pull him this Blazing Fest, you're probably going to pull him next Blazing Fest. So don't worry about it too much if you don't get him now. Alright? just keep in mind 1 year anniversary is coming up, so that's something you most definitely want to go for. So I'm gonna show you guys his ultimate jutsus and ninjutsus, and I'm gonna close off the video here. Alright, so the first one that you saw was Fire Style Bomb Blast Dance, and the second that you saw was his ultimate jutsu, summoning 10 tails. This card is probably gonna be one of the most he's probably the most overpowered card in the game. If you do manage to pull him, congrats to you. Will I be doing summoning for OBITO? I probably will. Not too many pearls, maybe about 200. I don't want to try too much. If I get the card, I get the card. If I don't, I don't. But I want to save for 1 year anniversary, because that's probably going to be the big thing. And again, if I don't pull him now, he will be on future Blazing Fest. So I think that's it as far as the KABUTO and the OBITO character analysis goes. I believe I covered everything. So thanks guys so much for watching. My name's Chaotix, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.